Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Sade Cherie, and welcome back to my channel. Before I get started, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to get more than 2 subscribers. Okay. So today I wanted to talk about Married at First Sight. And this season, surprisingly, has been pretty good. I still feel like we're missing something because Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper's, they're gone. And it's kind of like when you have the perfect recipe and then you switch it up and it's still good, but it's not as good or it's just not what you're used to. So that's kind of how this season feels since Dr. Pepper's and Pastor Cal are gone. I will say, Paul. Now, I don't know if I need to put some designation on his name. I don't know if he's a doctor. I don't know. I need to research that. But he came with it this past episode drop. So Peacock has been dropping 3 episodes each week. So I just cannot go through each episode. That's too much to put in one video. I didn't want to make 3 different videos. So I'm just going to talk about the 2 most important scenes to me, which were the dinner scene and the last group therapy session. Because Paul, baby, when I say he gathered all of them. And I was here for it because he was right on point based on a viewer, based on, social worker here and on a path to get my clinical social work license. He was on point. Now let's start from the top. So the 7 couples gather for dinner, and I don't know if it was the producers being messy or if Felipe really isn't messy, because when I say messy mess, Felipe was here for all of the drama. And it was funny, but also, like, who are you? Who are you? You are not the perfect man here. You do not have the best relationship to be so invested in everybody else's drama. Anyway, it kind of seemed like Felipe and Tori were the nucleus of the group. That is how the producers have set the stage at dinner. So Felipe started directing questions to each couple as to how each one of them felt the relationship was going. And one by one, each couple spoke about what was happening in their marriage. Now, mind you, these people have known each other for like a week at this point. So we have to keep that in the back of our minds when talking about what's going wrong, I feel like, because technically they're still really strangers. Like, you cannot get to know someone's heart, someone's mind, someone's likes, dislikes, what truly makes them tick, their goals. You cannot learn all of that in a week. So let's keep that in mind. Now, first things first, let's talk about Felipe and Tori, since he got the big mouth. Felipe reminds me of the kind of guy who he draws you in with his radical honesty. I feel like he's going to be honest and tell you how he really feels. And as a woman, sometimes that's refreshing because we know men lie. We're so used to men lying to our faces. So when we hear the truth and we think it's the truth because it's not pretty, we hear that coming from a man, it makes us feel closer. Like, okay, he respects me. Oh, okay, he feels close enough to tell me the truth and what he really thinks and what he really feels. And I feel like Felipe has a tremendous amount of emotional intelligence where he understands that. And I also think he prides himself on being unfiltered and honest, which I also think can be his downfall, because people like that, they use their words as a weapon. I recognize that in him because I recognize it in myself a little bit. especially in romantic situations. Like, you like to be honest, you like to be forthright, you like to be lay it all bare. However, brutal honesty without compassion is just brutality. I think that's the phrase. So that's kind of what Felipe is given. So far, he and Tori, to me, prior to watching this last drop, they were good. They were, I feel like, a good match until I found out she is a convicted, not convicted, she's convicted in her beliefs as a Christian. Um, he's an atheist. This is not going to work. In most marriages, I think you need something that is going to fundamentally connect you, relate you, mesh you with your partner. It's usually your love for family, the desire to have kids, maybe your careers and what you want to do as far as financial success, or religion or politics. It's usually in those five areas where people really connect. And they understand, hey, fundamentally, you and I share the same values, you and I share the same moral compass, you and I share the desire to create a family. It's something that really roots you and connects you in a way where moving forward, you know, you and your partner are on the same path. Fundamentally, if this man is an atheist and she's a Christian, I don't see how that would work. If he was agnostic, okay. But the fact that you don't believe in God, and here you are married to this woman who has tremendous faith in God and governs her life accordingly, I don't think that's going to work long term. And we have not seen that bubble up, the dissension that I think will breed from those two very different mindsets. We haven't seen that yet. What happened was they slept together. Tori dropped draw for him, and immediately her body rejected it. And I don't know if what she said was true. She said usually she kind of self sabotages and feels like, hey, I moved too fast. And I think that's what's happening here. Or maybe, or maybe she just wasn't ready. And as a woman, we kind of have to feel okay moving forward when when being intimate with a man. There's something that happens to us mentally, cognitively, emotionally, physically, um, where you need to feel safe, you need to feel cared for, you need to feel connected. And I truly don't think you can feel all of those things in a week. Especially if you have the kind of mindset that I think Tori has. She's a Christian woman. And I'm sure some of that is playing in the back of her head, that she feels maybe I shouldn't have done this, even though this is her husband. That's what's happening with them. Felipe seems to be very receptive and caring and considerate of her feelings, which I like, which I maintain. I think Felipe is a good hearted person who has, boy, tendencies. But the way his family poured the love just oozed out of them, I feel like I want to hold on and say they might make it, but I don't know. So next couple I want to talk about, let's just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. Nikki and Sean. Nikki basically made herself look like the victim. And at this dinner, Sean maybe got in 10 words. It was all Nikki explaining how Sean seemingly baits her into arguments and then plays a victim. That is what I heard. The sum of what she was saying is that he does not listen. He misconstrues her words, and then it becomes a back and forth situation. Devin, out of all people at the table, which I didn't expect, he piped up with a very astute assessment, if I might say. He said, I think it's both of y'all's egos. I think neither one of y'all want to yield to the other. And he's right. That's exactly what it is. In addition to the fact that she don't like this man. She does not find him attractive. She does not want to kiss him. She do not want to drop draw, but his man. And I don't think you can get past that. I've never heard a man say, "Oh, I can grow into attraction with you." I've never heard a man say that. She sits in that. "Oh, I think I can grow in attract attraction with him." No, girl, you don't like this man. That's why everything he says and does irritates your soul. No. In addition to that, Sean comes from the world of academia. If you've ever been in a relationship or you've been around people who are professors or they have their PhD and, you know, they kind of thrive in that world, sometimes anything they say comes across as condescending because they are used to being in teach mode. Teach mode is where, to me, someone speaks as if they have a level of intelligence or they have more insight on a specific subject topic knowledge where most people don't. And so they are now giving you this information in a way where they feel like they are helping you learn versus relating to you. And so when you're getting to know someone, that's not earned. You don't have the right. You don't have the pedestal. You do not have whatever your pedigree is. It's not earned or respected. In order to be able to teach someone, you have to qualify yourself as someone who's worthy of their time, their attention, their mind, and that you know what you're talking about. And I feel like with Sean and Nikki, Sean comes across as someone who's used to being smart. He's used to being the intelligent one in the conversation. Well, Nikki is saying, hold up, who are you talking to? Because I'm successful. I am also smart. And I'm not about to sit here and let, you little toad, bald toad with glasses talk to me like I'm stupid. And I think most women, we have that inside of us. I'm not going to say most. I have that inside of me where if I feel like you are trying to, little girl me and dismiss what I'm saying or treat me in a very condescending way or belittle me or make me, feel like I'm less than smart or less than you, I'm a return serve. And it's not going to be nice. And I feel like that is what's happening with Nikki and Sean, except for with Nikki, she really doesn't like him. So I feel like her words come across very caustic and there's vitriol there. And I feel like we just haven't seen enough off camera, like normal behavior. I feel like in days of old maths days, they used to have those cameras in the house where we would catch those moments of them having authentic conversations or disagreements or arguments where we can now put visual confirmation to the reasons the couples are not getting along. And now we're getting it secondhand because it's a he say, she say, and we have not seen it. And so it makes Nikki seem like she is the one who is unyielding and she is the one who's always fighting or unhappy. And Devin, let's talk about Devin and Caitlin. Since I just talked about Devin helping Nikki and Sean, he needs to help himself. So with Caitlin, girl, you letting all this beefcake with the blonde tips go to waste. That is one handsome man, and he seems well adjusted. Considering the childhood he had, being abandoned by his father, and basically becoming the man of the house, and the fact that he is that handsome. I'm sure he is not used to women not being open to him and not being well received. And so with that, he did not turn into this angry, bitter, rude jerk. He's trying, and Caitlyn is very resistant. She is a dismissive, avoidant person and don't know much about her childhood because she didn't really talk about it. She has both her parents, and they seem like a happy family. She described herself as not being a mushy gushy person, and that she does not feel safe to hold space for her emotions in this new relationship, especially on camera. But girl, why you sign up for this show? The people want to know. It doesn't make sense. Um, they are very cute together. They match like physically on paper. I could see why the experts put them together. She's going to have to break down that emotional wall and learn to be uncomfortable with her feelings. That is the only way you'll ever have a real connection with a man, a husband, a partner. You can't be a boulder and expect to, have someone feel close to you when all they're getting is this hard exterior. Um, if she can break that down and actually, be more in tune with her emotions, express her emotions, have healthy communication, and just let herself be loved by this man, I think they might make it, honestly. I'm hopeful that they will make it. Next, let's talk about Courtney and Nick. Oh my God, that's a hot mess. I don't know if Courtney is just bad at expressing herself and her feelings because she be talking all around the world. At first, she over here in Utah, then she in New York, now she in Texas. She is all over the United States. Then she's flying to Europe. Then she flying to Africa. Then she in Australia. Girl, what is you talking about? Like, we don't know. Nick don't know. The experts don't know. It just seems like she's not into Nick for whatever reason. And I can understand her being apprehensive since he's been on all of these reality shows. I ain't never seen him. But again, I don't watch the shows The Circle and something else they said he was on. So I could see her being apprehensive, but he's not an ugly man. He seems like he wants to get to know her. He seems genuine in his desire to connect with her. But we'll never find out because she ain't trying to hear it. So even when they met, the families, she wanted her family to basically talk ish about him. And her family was like, girl, he seems like a perfectly normal uh man who is employed, seemingly successful, handsome, come from a nice family. What's the problem? And we all want to know, girl, what's the problem? It just seems like she maybe does not want to get hurt again and is finding things to be annoyed with. Is finding a reason to not let him in. It's not the same thing as Caitlyn. I feel like Caitlyn is scared because she does not know how to sit with her own feelings. I feel like Courtney is running because she is just being dishonest, I feel like, and disingenuous about her feelings. Two different things. And I don't know if she's just not attracted to him or she does not like his personality and, feels like he's too dry or just feels like they don't have a lot in common. I feel like it would be better received and understood if she just said the thing. Nick seems like he's there for a good time, but also seems like he is trying a little bit. That's it. Cameron and Michelle. Cameron and Michelle. I think they might make it. Out of everybody, I could give that to them. I felt like Cameron was hiding something. Like, you got these commitment issues. You've never had a relationship longer than 6 months and you're in your 30s. It's possible that there's nothing wrong. It's possible that he just hadn't found the one or work, requirements got in the way. thus far, no issues there. They seem to communicate. You know, they drop draw, got that going. Yeah, they're kind of boring, but that's not a bad thing. Um, yeah. On to the next. Let's talk about Mecca and Belle Jolie. Mecca, what is the phrase? The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Mecca is, I feel like, mimicking what his father does. His father has a way of shining a spotlight on himself. When he knows the attention is on himself, he tends to perform. I agree. Later in the group therapy session, Michelle calls him out as being performative. And that's exactly what that was. I feel like Mecca doesn't like, as most of us don't, like our feelings to be exposed, especially in a group setting. And so we previously know he said he thinks Belle Jolie is more attracted to him than he is to her. Now, we all flabbergasted because Belle is beautiful. And Mecca is very handsome, and they, to me, make the most attractive couple. And the fact that he said, "Oh, she's more attracted to me than I am to her," made me think, well, maybe she's not his type. And we don't know what his type is. We don't know what the exes look like. Could be the issue. Um, it definitely seemed like he was putting on a performance, basically saying, "Hey, things have changed. I'm, initiating more kisses, this and that." Don't know. I think Belle's gonna get hurt, and I think this is not gonna end well. I also feel like he was being a little manipulative when he said, "Hey, I think you're more attracted to me than I am to you." That's a way for somebody to get in your mind. And some women take that as a challenge. And instead of them dropping back like Belle did, some women will turn up the heat, turn it up a notch, 2 notches, 3 notches, and start being more assertive and showing more love. And I think that's what he wanted. I think he wanted someone to shower him with affection. He wanted someone to be all up on him, to make him feel wanted. And that could be tied back to his childhood and how he was not wanted, how he was abandoned by 2 mothers, not one, but 2. His bio mom and his stepmom left. And I don't, as a child, usually that has nothing to do with the children. It has everything to do with the relationship that those women were in. And seeing how his father was, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Y'all see what I'm saying? Yeah. Next, who we got? Adam and Marissa. Adam is here for fun. This is his jet ski of the week. He can't be on the water, so now he is on maps. This is how he's having fun. He has no plans, no real intention of being with this woman past the show. He is here for fun. And Marissa is enjoying it, but I don't think she realizes that she is just the next flavor of the month. That is also not going to end well. That was the gist of this. I'm going to make a second video for the group therapy session. And maybe, you know what? I'll just go through real quick. Because I don't want to make this too long. So that was dinner. We later go to group therapy. And I don't remember them doing group therapy this early on in the season, but I'm not mad at it. Because when I say Paul showed up and showed out, he put his analytical assessment skills to the test and he passed. That was an A plus. Come on, Paul. Now, the doctor, I forget her name, the other expert, she was also on point, but Paul really directed and mediated this group therapy session. So let's get right to it. He roasted Adam. He made Adam sit down and basically said, "Hey, don't show up here flaunting this, flaunting in here like you're jet skiing, like you're about to go party. This is serious business, and this serious business requires serious attire. So you need to come in here with some respect and correct." Adam had his shirt unbuttoned, showing all his meat. I didn't see no taco meat, but showing all his fleshly meat, and he had a tag on his shirt. Like, what are you doing? And Marissa just smiling, holding his hand, like, girl, wake up. Um, Long story short, Paul pulled his card. He said, Adam, you have a way of deflecting with humor. You don't take anything seriously, and I don't think you're taking this relationship seriously. He asked Marissa if they had any in-depth conversations about, childhood, their lives, the future, finances, anything with weight. And she thought about it and she was like, no. Again, she's waking up now. That man has no intention of being with her long term. He is literally here just having a good time. And as soon as Paul clocked him on that, he had like a little face, like he was offended. But that makes sense. And maybe that's why his family didn't show up, because they know he don't take nothing serious. They know this is just another one of his acts he's putting on, another one of his shenanigans he's doing. Um, yeah, they basically said, hey, you guys need to sit down and talk. Everything is not a game. Everything is not a joke. Marriage is serious business. And if you want to stay married, you're going to have serious conversations. Okay. Next, let's go ahead and talk about Belle Jolie and Mecca. So they asked, how's it going? Then they said, it's going good. And the experts are kind of surprised to hear, oh, it's going good. Becca and Mecca and Belle Jolie share with a group that they drop draw, and she feels more connected. The experts, mainly Dr. I think her name is like Laz. I'm gonna call her Dr. L because I can't remember her name. She was surprised. She was like, "Oh, okay. This is new because when we last spoke, Belle, you kind of felt like he was not connecting with you. He was not as open or connected or interested as you wanted him to be." And they talked a little bit about that. And the group in group therapy, the group members, as they feel like, can chime in and put they 2 cents in it. Michelle calls Mecca out and basically says, this feels more sincere, what you're saying here. Because Mecca said, hey, we're more connected. I feel that I am putting more effort into being more physically connected and intimate with her. And Michelle says this feels more honest and authentic because at dinner it felt very performative. It felt like you said what, you felt like you needed to say versus what you really feel. And I agree. She was right on the money. And so after she said that, he looked very dejected. He felt hurt in that moment. And I felt like he felt exposed because I think that's exactly what he was doing. And of course, Belle felt a little protective and, tried to chime in to make it seem like, I didn't feel like he was being performative. I think he was just expressing himself. He's a very charismatic person, large personality, which is true. But two things can be true at the same time. You can use that as a cover to disguise your true feelings if you don't feel comfortable talking about your true feelings. So that's what that was. Next, the expert says basically you have to, sit with those uncomfortable feelings and be real. Next, let's talk about Felipe and Tori. Felipe basically said, I feel good. My only worry with Tori is how do I not get bored? And when I say Paul gave all of them, great advice. I'm going to take this moving forward for myself. He said, in a relationship, you initially are excited to be connected. A lot of people conflate butterflies, the feeling of having butterflies, with excitement and connection and love, when that is just a chemical response in your brain that you have something new that is still exciting to you. When you've been in a long term relationship, and I can attest to this, you don't always feel those butterflies. That is not going to happen in the duration of 5, 10, 20, 30 years. No. Um, Paul said, replace the thought of excitement and, the fear of getting bored with the desire to be curious. Maintain curiosity about your partner, because as you're moving through life with this person, they're experiencing life on their own as an individual. So their goals, their hopes, their dreams, their desires, their likes, their dislikes, their fears, all of that changes. We all continue to grow, hopefully. So you need to maintain that curiosity so you can stay connected to your partner. Don't think about it as being bored. Think about it as always being a constant learner to learn your partner. And I love that. I think that was sage advice for everyone, especially Felipe. And Tori, in the moment, said she felt fear because that's not something she, had heard before. And so hearing that out of his mouth, as anybody would be scared, is this man gonna get tired of me, feel bored, and then start acting up? And so we shall see. I feel like that's probably gonna happen, unfortunately. But either way, that was great advice. Next couple, Devin and Caitlin. They basically said, Devin, don't shrink yourself, and Caitlin, you need to open up. Like, you cannot expect anyone to love you, fall in love, stay in love if you don't give them any information about yourself. You don't try. You don't try to have any sort of connection with them. And so they both said they understood. They're gonna try. I'm hopeful for them. I just think they are so cute. And both seemingly to have balanced personalities. I don't see any abnormal major personality traits that would cause any major drama or dissension there. So I like them. Michelle and Cameron, they tell everybody they draw. And then they talk about their future and where they're going to live, how Michelle makes more money, and how that was an awkward conversation. And then they also discuss, I think, kids. I think Michelle had endometriosis. She had some issues with her fertility. So that was a conversation that they had to have. It was very uncomfortable, but the experts applauded them for having those conversations because it's necessary. I think they're going to make it. I think out of everyone, they probably have the strongest relationship right now. Then we got to Courtney and Nick. The experts basically said, Nick, you need to open up and tell Courtney something real. Because right now, as experts and as, fellow, I don't call them contestants, your fellow castmates, we all kind of look at you like, is he just on another show? Because you've not shared anything that's truly vulnerable about yourself. And then Nick was like, well, I don't have anything to share, which I'm kind of on his side. Like, if you're someone who's lived a very charmed life, and I don't mean rich, but charmed and blessed life, meaning you have both of your parents who were very loving, nurtured you, didn't, have any issues as a child, great childhood, you get into college, graduate college, great job, great career, finances look great. You've had a great friend group. You don't have any negative experiences or traumatic events in your life that have really caused you any true pain. A lot of people think you can't have depth if you have not experienced heartbreak or tragedy. And I feel like that's unfair to project that on him. The experts were like, you might not have, any negative experiences to report, but what about your fears? We all have, we're all fearful of something. What's something that you could share with Courtney um, that is vulnerable to you? And he couldn't think of anything. And so that was his homework from the experts. And Courtney kind of chimed in, well, yeah, yeah. And I feel like I hate that they said that, because I feel like that gives her another leg to stand on as to why she's not connecting with him, instead of actually saying what it is. Um, but with Courtney, they said again, your last relationships, they cheated on you. Maybe you're not allowing yourself to be fully open because you're fearful that that might happen again, and you don't want to be abandoned or hurt again. And so she, again, talked all over the world. No real reason as to why she's not being connected. But as soon as the expert said, hey, you're not really being authentic about anything of substance, she kind of latched onto that as a reason as to why she's not feeling connected. I just think she don't like this man, um, and she don't think they're compatible. But that's how that went. These were really good episodes. I'm not mad at it. I think the rest of the season will be good, and I feel like maybe only one couple is gonna make it. So drop down in the comments and tell me what you guys think, because I don't see it for call him Becca, Mecca and Beljolie. Unfortunately, even though I like them, I don't think it's gonna work. What y'all think? Mm.